Hello everyone and welcome to part 4, which is dedicated to feeder fishing and all things feeder and rod and line related. Right, let's jump straight in. Feeder fishing gear. I'll try and organise that into a couple of these bags. I've got one Preston one, one ends on dial one. Now I've seen various different ways that people organise their feeders and feeder gear. I think there's two ways to go. You either have like a plastic or EVA case with all your feeders all dumped in together, or you have like a larger sort of like screw tray that you'd sort of get from like a DIY store, or a couple of companies do like dedicated plastic feeder boxes. I've gone a sort of in between kind of way because I think both ways have advantages and disadvantages. Having everything all dumped together in one tub is all right if you fish the same venue all the time, but if you're going to different venues, swapping your feed around all the time, you spend forever just picking out your feeders and trying to make sure that you've got everything that you need. However, if you carry everything in a big plastic tub, you still have to spend all your time sorting out your feeders. You just end up then doing that on the bank because a lot of these feeder boxes, they're too big to kind of actually have with you on your side tray. So that's why I've gone this kind of in-between sort of way with these feeder bags. So before I actually bought any of these feeder bags, I kept all of my feeders in these plastic boxes that I actually got from Banks and Burr fishing tackle shop in Rugby, if anybody wanted any. And they're great because they're just perfect size for feeders. You can get quite a few in there, but not a silly amount, and you can organise them however you need, and it's the perfect size just to put down on your side tray. If I'm just going somewhere where I need just a few feeders and I know exactly what I need, I'll just take one of these plastic boxes separately, I'll put it in my carry-all, but most of the time it lives in one of these bags. So I've just got them very simply labelled up. That's my light feeders, for all my short range work. This is the top of my heavier feeders for all my longer range work. And this is actually one of the plastic tubs that comes with the bag. I've got a few spare feeders in there, and also keep my chock leaders in there as well. But my chock leaders, I try and make them up in advance, and I've just got them on pole winders, and I've just put a little bit of insulating tape on the end just to stop them unravelling. That means I can just literally just pull the tag end out of the insulating tape, tie it onto a main line, and away I go. I'm not messing around with cutting a knot off as well. It's just something a little less to mess around with. Now, where plastic tubs all falls apart is with window feeders. Like, none of them, the tubs out there that I've seen, really fit window feeders in that great. However, there is a solution. It's in this top part here. I've got 3 Guru EVA cases. Now these must have been invented specifically for window feeders because they're absolutely brilliant. They all just slot straight in, upright, put the lid on, absolutely made for them, brilliant. So I've got 3 of these fitted in the top of this case, which, Preston case full of Guru tubs. You'd have thought they'd been made to measure. They fit in absolutely perfectly. So just to keep these window feeders a little bit more organised as well, I've actually got some little bits of plastic from ice cream tubs just slotted in between, so they can be organised by weight as well. So I've just got 20 gram ones in the front, various different sizes, then 30 grams, then 40 grams, then 50 grams, 60 grams and so on. And in these other tubs I've got spare feeders or bigger bait up feeders and stuff like that, your real kind of bulky stuff that's not ideal for fitting into these plastic tubs. So when I actually organise feeders inside these tubs or in here, I try and keep them in weight order rather than size order. So I like to think, well, if you're fishing somewhere, you've had a play around, you found, let's say, a 30 gram feeder is absolutely perfect. So if you then want to up the feed, you want to swap it then for another 30 gram feeder, or if you want to drop the feed down, you then want to go to a smaller 30 gram feeder. Either way, you want to stay at 30 grams. So just having all your 30 gram feeders in one compartment, all your 40 gram feeders in another compartment, all your 50 gram feeders in another compartment, just makes things just nice and easy, and you can instantly spot what you've got and make swapping feeders really nice and easy. Another great little feature of having one of these bags as well is they do have little extra pockets. So I've got a couple of hook length boxes in here. Most of my feeder hook lengths, they're on the bigger 50 centimetre Preston boxes, which obviously carry with me separately, but I do have a few shorter 30 centimetre feeder hook lengths where it's great just to keep them in these plastic boxes in there. It just means if I'm going feeder fishing, all I need to do is obviously remember my rod bag with my feeder rods in, and remember to pick up this feeder bag with all my feeders in and my hook lengths, and obviously my bigger hook length boxes, and away I go. It's nice and easy, very little to remember. So when it comes to commercial feeder fishing, a similar kind of theme, I try and keep everything together in one bag. So it's why I really like this ends on bag. It's a similar kind of design in that if you open it up, there's a couple of plastic boxes in there. You can see I've not actually used one of those. Is not the genuine ends on ones, but it doesn't matter, you get the idea. I'm able to organise all my feeders and elasticated stems and that together. That can go on my side tray if need be. And what I really like is this EVA piece at the top that's actually held on by Velcro, which can actually take that off the bag and also put that on the side tray if need be. And the reason I may want that close by is, again, in there, literally filled that with, I've got a method feeder hook lengths all together. I've got some Corda goo stuff, I've got all wafters and stuff like that, a few bigger bait up feeders, method moulds if I need them, just all the little bits and pieces that I might need feeder fishing on a commercial, all together, all in here. So again, if we're going on a commercial where I feel I'm going to need some feeder gear, all I need to do is remember the rods, and then remember it's one bag and everything's all there together. Of course, I can't talk about feeder fishing without talking about rods and ready rod bags. Now, like most anglers, I don't like making my rods up on the bank. I'd much rather have them all ready made up in these ready rod bags. So, as you can see, I've built up quite a collection over the years. First up is this monster one, which is a 3+3. It's got like a stacking system inside it, so although it's only got 3 zips, you can actually fit 2 rods in each compartment, so that's 6 rods in here. You can't really fit bigger rods in there with bigger reels in it, so I tend to keep my shorter range rods in here. So because most of my feeder fishing is natural water fishing, I keep 2 Superior SLs in 10 foot made up, that's for my short range fishing, 2 12-foot spheres for like medium kind of range, and I've also got a little 10-foot 2-piece carp rod here in the last compartment that I use for baiting up. I think baiting up rods, they're really important, and just they're so useful. Yeah, you could bait up with the rod that you're fishing with, but if you're putting in any kind of amount of bait, especially this bait up rod, makes things a lot easier. Now, it's not an expensive rod, it's just a cheap 2-piece 10-footer with a cheap old reel on it, £10 line. It just means I can put a dirty great feeder on it, chuck it 20, 30, 40 metres, whatever. No worries of crack-offs, breaking rods or anything like that. Just a real nice addition. The second one is a very old design. I don't think they sell these anymore. That's a monster bag. This hasn't got the compartments in it, so it's not stackable, but it does mean that you can fit bigger reels inside this. But you can still stack your rods thanks to like the top and tail kind of rod straps. You strap your rods together to hold them together, and then you can get still a couple in each compartment. This contains all my bigger rods, you know, longer range rods. They all go in there with another baiting up rod, which this time is a far more powerful cart rod. It's a Chubb Outcast one that I've had for years and years. I've got some 10-pound braid mainline on that and a 30-pound braid shock leader. I think it doesn't matter what the wind's like or what the weather's like, you can put on a dirty great feeder with that, hit it as hard as you want, and you're not going to damage it. Whereas with my long range rods, you know, they're obviously designed for taking weights and for casting heavy feeders, but it's a bit silly, you know, putting that kind of strain on your long range fishing gear if you don't need to. Baiting rod makes that so much easier. When it comes to my choice of distance rods, I own a couple of these, which are Preston Innovations Distance Masters. They're the 13'2" models. They're absolutely fantastic rods in that you can hit the range with them. They've got a real good fish playing action. The tips on them are also fantastic. You can read bites really well with them. When it comes to extreme distance, I haven't fully settled upon a rod. I do have a couple of Black Viper Mark IIs from Browning. They're a really good casting rod. And I have recently picked up another Distance Master rod, this time the heaviest one in the range, which is best part of 14 foot. So far I've achieved some real good distances with it, but I haven't fully decided which is the best rod for absolute out and out distance yet. Last one is another one of these smaller stacking ones. This is just a 2+2 one. That's why I keep the waggler rods in there, a couple of 13 foots, a couple of 14 foots made up and ready to go. Of course, having these great big rod bags is great when you go on a specialist feeder venue. I'm just going to carry these 2 rod bags with me with loads of rods. But if you're fishing a pole venue as well, you don't really want to be carrying a load of rods with you that you don't need. So if the feeder's just a backup method and I just need 1 or maybe 2 feeder rods, you don't want to carry those bags. So that's where these older hard case rod bags come in. Usually nothing's kept in these. I think these are the very original hard case rod bags that came on the market. They're got to be getting on for 20 years old now. So what it just means is if I'm going somewhere, I need 1 rod, I can just pick it out of one of these bags already made up, slip it into one of these and carry it with me. I've got a single one and a double one. That's great for commercials as well, where you only need a couple of rods or just a feeder rod and a pellet waggler rod, something like that. I'll just pop one of these, I'll just pop them into one of these, and it's all done and sorted. The only other place that I do keep rods made up is on my garage wall. I've got some, you know, just as standard DIY hooks. I've stacked a load of rods together. It does look a bit of a jumbled mess, but they are all made up. They are there if I need them, and I can easily see what I've got. A final tip regarding the ready rod bags. Most of these have all got like external pockets in them. They're great when you're going on a venue where you're only feeder fishing or you're only rod and line fishing, which means that you can just put your landing net pole straight in the side pocket. I've got to just remember to do that. You've got to take that out of the main rod bag. It can be very easy to forget to do that. And these side pockets, they're also great for tip storage. I just like to keep a selection of tips in tubes in the side pocket of the rod bag, you know, relevant to the rods that are in there. So as long as you remember your landing net pole, you've got everything that you need all ready to go in one of these bags. So thanks very much for watching, if indeed you still are. If you've enjoyed my video, then please like it and please subscribe to my channel, because it obviously helps me out and ensures that I'm able to continue making more.